Hello students. Today we are going to start the exercises which are based on this chapter, Fair Play. So let's start solving the exercises. Before starting the exercises, we should review this chapter once again. As you all know, the story is about two friends who had a fair sense of justice. The enmity between these two friends has developed a misunderstanding. Their friendship was at stake, but the other friend helps them to realize their fault. Jumman Sheikh and Algu Chaudhry were very good friends. They were known for their loyalty and service to each other. Their friendship was support to their family as well. The village people respected them a lot for this. Jumman's aunt transferred her property to Jumman on a condition that he would look after her throughout her remaining life. But after a couple of years, Jumman and his wife changed their behavior and they started insulting her. And they were treating very badly with that aunt. Jumman neglected her word and insulted her because she was asking monthly payment for separate her kitchen. Now Jumman had to pay a fixed monthly amount to his aunt as per the judgment. Somehow Jumman was not able to take this in the right spirit. He developed hatred against Algu. Few days later, Algu was caught up in a fix. One of his pair of bullocks died so he sold his other bullock to Samju Sahu. He was supposed to pay money within a month, but alas, the sold bullock died before the expiry of the period of the payment. So Samju was not ready to pay money to Algu. Now Algu was left with no other option but to take the case to the Panchayat. This time, Samju Sahu appointed Jumman, now enemy of Algu, as the head punch. As the head punch, Jumman realized that the responsibility of the head punch is above everything in this world. Algu was afraid of losing the case, but Jumman had to speak for the truth. So he gave judgment in his favor and ordered Sahu to pay the money to Algu. Algu was so overwhelmed that he declared aloud that the voice of the punch is the voice of the god. Both the friends hugged each other, their tears cleaned their heart. On this note, the story has completed and we are going to solve the exercises which are based on this story. So let's see. Working with the text. Now here we have to match the sentence under 1 with those under 2. First is Jumman and Algu were the best of friends. Jumman aunt transferred her property to him. The aunt decided to appeal to the Panchayat. For this, Algu was unwilling to support the aunt. Jumman was very happy to hear Algu's name as head punch. Now, in the second part, he believed that his friend would never go against him. She wanted justice. In the absence of one, the other took care of his family. The condition was that he would be responsible for her welfare. The bond of friendship between him and Jumman was very strong. Now, here we are going to match one part to the second part. Jumman and Algu were the best of friends. So here we are going to match with this. This is going to match with 3. In the absence of one, the other took care of his family. Juman and Algu were the best of friends. In the absence of one, the other took care of his family. And the second is Juman aunt transferred her property to him. The condition was that he could be responsible for her welfare. And the second is going to match with the 4th. The condition was that he would be responsible for her welfare. Now 3rd, the aunt decided to appeal to the Panchayat. She wanted justice. Now 3rd is going to match with 2nd. She wanted justice. And 4th one is Algu was unwilling to support the aunt. The bond of friendship between him and Juman was very strong. Algu was unwilling to support the aunt. So 4th is going to match to 5. And the 5th is Juman was very happy to hear Algu's name as head punch. He believed that his friend would never go against him. Now 5th is going to with 1. So here we can write 3, 4, 2, 5 and 1. So let's move to the next exercise. Who says this to whom and why? First, my wife knows best how to run the house. Who says to whom? Now here you can see Juman said this to his aunt because he was shameless and had grown tired of her, and she had asked her for a monthly allowance to set up a separate kitchen as she felt that she was not wanted in their house. So here you can write Juman said this to his aunt. Why? Because he was shameless and had grown tired of her, and she had asked him for a monthly allowance to set up a separate kitchen as she felt that she was not wanted in their house. Now, second, but it is right, my son, to keep mum and not say what you consider just and fair. Now, this dialogue was given by, in this story, Juman's aunt said this to Algu. She had gone to the Algu for help, but Algu had politely refused her plea. He did not want to go to the Panchayat because Juman was his friend and he could not go against him. Now, third, what have you to say in your defense? Algu said to the Juman. Algu was made the head punch by the aunt, and he said this to the question Juman about his mistreatment of the aunt. Now, fourth, I can't pay you a penny for the wretched beast you sold me. Samjhu Sahu said this to Algu when Algu demanded payment for the bullock he had sold to Samjhu. The bullock had died within a month and Sahu refused to pay for it. Now, fifth, victory to the Panchayat, this is justice. Algu said this over and over again in front of the village. He was happy that Jummad had not deviated from the path of the justice in spite of the enmity between them and had not allowed his personal feeling to come in the way of speaking the truth and doing justice. So this way you can solve these questions. Let's move to the answer the following questions. First is, then the situation change. What is being referred to? Now here we have to move to the text and see in paragraph number 2 what is written there. Jumman had an old aunt who had some property. She transferred to him on the understanding that she would stay with him and he would look after her. The arrangement worked well for a couple of years. Then the situation changed. Jumman and his family were tired of the old relative. Jumman became an indifferent to her as his wife, who grudged even the little food that the old lady wanted every day. She swallowed these insults along with her food for a few months, but patience has its limit. Now here you can write the answer. The situation being referred to is Jumman and his family's behavior towards his aunt. Jumman's aunt had transferred her property to him on the understanding that he would look after her. However, after a couple of years, Jumman and his family grew tired of her. He became as indifferent to her and his wife too grudges even the little food that the old lady wanted every day. Now here you can see the answer. Now let's move to the next question. Our next question is, when Jumman's aunt realized that she was not welcome in his house, what arrangement did he suggest? Now, for the answer this, we should look back in paragraph number 3. One day she spoke to Jumman, "My son, this is now obvious that I am not wanted in your house. Kindly give me monthly allowance so that I can set up a separate kitchen. My wife knows best how to run the house. Be patient," said Jumman shamelessly. This made his aunt very angry and she decided to take her case to the village Panchayat. Now here you can write the answer like this. When Jumman's aunt realized that she was not welcome in his house, she suggested that Jumman should give her a monthly allowance so that she could up a separate she could set up a separate kitchen. Now here you can see the answer. She asked for the monthly allowance so that she can set up a separate kitchen. This way you can write the answers. Now let's move to the question number 3. What was the villagers' reaction when the aunt explained her case to them? For this answer, we can move to the Paragraph number 4. For many days, the old lady was seen talking to the villagers, explaining her case and seeking their support. Some sympathized with her, others laughed at her, and a few others advised her to make it up with her nephew and his wife. At last she came to Algu Chaudhary and spoke to him. You know, Chachi, Jumman is my best friend. How can I go against him? Algu said. But is it right, my son, to keep mum and not say what you consider just and fair? Pleaded the old lady. Come to the Panchayat and speak the truth, she said. Algu didn't reply, but her word kept ringing in his ears. Now, here we can get the answer. When the aunt explained her case to the villagers, some sympathized with her, others laughed at her, and a few others advised her to make it up with her nephew and his wife. Now here you can get the answer. But we have already read the whole paragraph. But the answer you can write from here. And remaining lines you can write from this. Now let's move to the next question. Our next question is, why was Jumman happy over Algu's nomination as head punch? For this answer, we have to see the paragraph number 6 once again. The punch knows neither friend nor enemy. What do you say to Algu Chaudhary? The old lady announced. Fine, replied Jumman, hiding his joy over his unexpected piece of luck. Jumman was happy over Algu nomination as head punch because Algu was his best friend and he knew that he would never go against him. So here you can see the answer. Fine, replied Jumman, hiding his joy over his unexpected piece of luck. So we can write the answer. Jumman was happy over Algu's nomination as head punch because Algu was his best friend and he knew that he would never go against him. So this way we can write the answer. Now let's move to the next question. Our next question is, God lives in the heart of the punch, the aunt said. What did she mean? Now, this line you can see many times in the story. Munshi Premchandra always give preference of this line. So we just see where it is written and in which context it is written. So for this answer, we have to see paragraph number 6. Now here you can see the answer. Chachi, you are aware of my friendship with Jumman, said Algu. I know that, replied the aunt, but I also know that you will not kill your conscience for the sake of friendship. God lives in the heart of the punch and his voice is the God's voice. And the old lady explained her case. This answer we will write like this. God lives in the heart of the punch, but this Jumman aunts meant that the punch was always impartial and would not kill his conscience for the sake of the friendship. A punch had neither a friend nor an enemy. Whatever justice be delivered, it was a justice delivered by God. This is the answer of this question. Now let's move to the next question. Sixth question is, what was Algu's verdict as head punch? How did Jumman take it? For this answer, we have to see paragraph number 7 and 8. Jumman was cross-examined by Algu and others. Then Algu announced, "We have gone into the matter carefully. In our opinion, Jumman must pay his aunt a monthly allowance, or else the property goes back to her." Now, the two friends were seldom seen together. The bond of friendship between them was broken. In fact, Jumman was Algu's enemy and wanted his revenge. This answer we can write like this. As head punch, Algu's verdict was that Jumman had to pay his aunt a monthly allowance, or else the property would go back to her. Jumman did not take the verdict well. Algu and Jumman were seldom seen together from that day. The bond of friendship between them was broken. Jumman felt betrayed and became Algu's enemy. All he wanted was to take his revenge on Algu. This way we can write the answer. Our seventh question is, Algu found himself in the tight spot. What was the problem? For this answer, we have to see paragraph number 9. Days passed, and as ill luck would have it, Algu Chaudhry found himself in a tight spot. One of his fine pair of bullocks died, and he sold the other to Samju Sahu, a cart driver of the village. The understanding was that Sahu would pay the price of the bullock in a month's time. It so happened that the bullock died within a month. Now here we can write the answer. One of the Algu's fine pair of the bullock died, and he sold the other to Samju Sahu on the understanding that Sahu would pay the price of the bullock in the month's time. The bullock died within a month, and Sahu refused to pay Algu. Now here we can see the answer. Now let's move to the next question. Next question is, why was Algu upset over Jumman's nomination as head punch? For this answer, we have to see paragraph number 12 and 13. So let's move. The Panchayat was held under the old banyan tree. Algu stood up and said, "The voice of the punch is the voice of a god. Let Sahu nominate the head punch. I will abide by his decision." 13. Sahu saw his chance and proposed the name of Jumman. Algu's heart sank and he turned pale. But what could he do? Now here you can see the answer we can write in this way. The bond of friendship between Algu and Jumman was broken after Algu had given a verdict in favor of the Jumman's aunt. Jumman was Algu's enemy and wanted revenge. This was why Algu was upset over Jumman's nomination as head punch. So this way we can write the answer. Now let's move to the next question. Our next question is, what was Jumman's verdict as head punch? How did Algu take it? Now, for this answer, we have to see paragraph number 14 and 15. The moment Jumman became head punch, he realized his responsibility as judge and the dignity of his office. Could he seated in the high place have his revenge now? He thought and thought. No, he must not allow his personal feeling to come in the way of speaking the truth and doing justice. But Algu and Sahu stated their cases. They were cross examined and the case was considered deeply. Then Jumman stood up and announced, "It is our opinion that Sahu should pay Algu the price of the bullock. When Sahu bought the bullock, it suffered from no disability or disease. The death of the bullock was unfortunate, but Algu cannot be blamed for it." Algu could not contain his feelings. He stood up and said loudly over again, "Victory to the Panchayat. This is the justice. God lives in the voice of the punch." Now here you can see Jumman's verdict as head punch was that since the bullock did not suffer from any disability or disease when Sahu bought it. Although the death was unfortunate, Algu could not be blamed for it. Therefore, Sahu would have to pay Algu the price of the bullock. When Algu heard Jumman's decision, he could not contain his feeling of joy, and he stood up and said loudly and over again, "Victory to the Panchayat. This is the justice. God lives in the heart of the punch." This way we can write the answer. Now let's move to the next question. Next question is, which of the following sums up the story best? I also know that you will not kill your conscience for the sake of friendship. Let no one deviate from the path of justice and truth for the friendship or enmity. The voice of the punch is the voice of the God. Give reason for your choice. If you are choosing anyone, you just give reason also. So you can write, let no one deviate from the path of the justice and truth for friendship or enmity. This is the correct one, and we have to put a tick. This sentence sum up the story best. In the story, we see justice being done in spite of the friendship or enmity. Algu delivered a just judgment, even though he was friend with Jumman. And Jumman did the same, although he had become Algu's enemy. Both did not allow their personal feelings to come in the way of the speaking the truth and doing justice. So this is the best option to give. You can say it is the best option we have chosen because it is sum up the story best. Now let's move to the working with language. Replace the italicized portion of each sentence below with the suitable phrase from the box. Make necessary changes whenever required. Look after, swallow, make it, keep mum, go into, ease one's conscience, as ill luck would have it, a tight spot, take chances, my heart sank. First is the best way to avoid an unnecessary argument is to remain silent. Unfortunately, the train I was trying to catch was cancelled. He has been told not to take risks while driving a car through a crowded street. The patient needs to be properly taken care of. Why don't the two of you and your quarrel with shaking hands? I was in the difficult situation till my friend came to my rescue. When I saw a pile of dirty dishes, I felt very disappointed. I will examine the matter carefully before commenting on it. They criticized him in the meeting, but he accepted without protest all the criticism. It will free from worry to know that I had done nothing wrong. Now, here we should replace remain silent. So, we have to replace to keep mum. To keep mum. Next is unfortunately. Unfortunately, as ill luck. As ill luck, the train I was trying to catch was cancelled. He has been told not to take risk. So we have to replace with take chances. Take risks. In place of take risk, we have to write take chance. Take chances. Fourth, the patient needs to properly taken care of. So we have to replace taken care of with looked after. Looked after. Fifth is why don't the two of you and your quarrel by shaking hands. So now the italicized is quarrel. So we have to replace with make it up. I was in difficult situation. So we have to write tight spot. Difficult situation. We are going to replace it tight spot. Now next is when I saw a pile of dirty dishes, I felt disappointed. So we have to write it pile of dirty dishes. My heart sank. In place of disappointment, my heart sank. Eighth, I will examine the matter carefully before commenting on it. So we will replace examine. In place of examine, we are going to write go into the matter. Go into the matter. I will examine. I will go into the matter. They criticize him in the meeting, but they accept it without protest. So here the word is without protest, and we have to replace it with he swallowed. He swallowed all the criticism. Swallowed. He swallowed all the criticism. It will free me from worry to know that I had done nothing wrong. So here we have to change will free to will ease my ease it will ease my conscience to know that I have done nothing wrong. For all of you, write in the copy. In place of these phrases, you have to write the correct one. So that's all for today. Bye bye. Take care.